We want your take on health care, but I have to ask you just quickly about what we were just discussing. President Trump wants to ban institutional buyers of single-family homes, which is something that we tend to hear from the left. Will President Trump spend his second year in office taking a page from the liberal playbook?
Well, let's be clear. Democrats have been fighting for working families. Republicans have been focused on the wealthy and well-connected. We've been fighting to make sure housing more affordable, to help address the cost crisis that American families are feeling with food, health care, child care, energy costs, all going up because of direct actions from this administration. There has been an outcry across the country. If Republicans would listen, they would be hearing that outcry. It's important that we stand up, and that's why this vote today is so important in terms of making sure that people have affordable health care.
Well, let's continue with this vote happening today, a so-called clean 3-year extension on the Affordable Care Act premium subsidies. We spoke to Senator Jeanne Shaheen yesterday, who said that this could be used as a vehicle for the Senate's plan, which would then get kicked back to your chamber. How would you vote if we see that plan materialize as the reporting indicates? A shorter extension, maybe 2 years, and it would include structural changes like anti-fraud protections and an income cap.
Well, let's be clear. My focus is on the vote that we have today, a 3-year extension, making sure that millions of people have affordable health care right now. Their premiums are up right now. This should have happened a long time ago. Republicans are late to the game, but we are going to keep pushing. This vote today is important because it's because of House Democrats pushing, being united on this issue that we are getting this vote. And we'll have a piece of legislation to push the Senate to move because the efforts in the past hadn't been going forward. So this is really because of the strength of House Democrats standing up for the American people.
Well, but of course, this probably won't be the bill that becomes law, correct? Should Democrats brace themselves for a negotiation that might bring these two bills together, Congresswoman, or are you simply counting on Republican frontliners to cross the aisle and help you make this happen? You got 9 on board yesterday. How many do you see tonight?
Well, I think folks should understand that this is good policy. This helps families across the country. Republicans created a health care crisis. So they did their big ugly bill, slashing Medicaid. It has had impacts across the country and on rural health care, rural hospitals impacted, services being cut. So their refusal to extend the tax credits has only made it worse. So this is an important step forward, and absolutely people, remember, should be voting for legislation to keep these tax credits in place. I think yesterday was an important vote. We have a couple of votes today, the final vote later today, to make sure we extend the tax credits. That is critically important. And then we will tackle how we move forward in the Senate.
But this is exactly what we're outlining here. It's an extension. Of course, you have a key role when it comes to getting Democrats elected. Is there any talk about a more sustainable plan? Are you hearing that from voters out on the campaign trail as we gear up for November? Because this is just basically kicking the can down the road, right? We're going to have another discussion about health care moving forward.
Absolutely we are, and we should be. We should be talking about how we move forward, making sure that people have affordable, quality health care across the country. Instead of moving forward, Republicans have been ripping things apart, moving backward with no plan whatsoever. They don't have any idea what they want to do except take health care away. We need to continue to be looking at what's working, what's not working, and making sure our ongoing goal is affordable, quality health care everywhere in this country. That has been our goal. Republicans just want to repeal with no idea how to go forward. And we're going to continue as we fight for the majority. And when we have the majority, that's our goal. Continue to move us forward to make sure our focus is on affordable, quality health care for the American people. And frankly, affordable cost of living for the American people.
Are you optimistic about government funding, Congresswoman? A lot of folks think that the potential for a shutdown or not might ride on the outcome of this very issue when it comes to ACA premiums. Can you tell our viewers and listeners the government will not shut down at the end of this month?
Well, the way that we make sure that we have funding bills that work is they're bipartisan. And Republicans weren't interested in coming to the table, working with Democrats to move forward bipartisan legislation. I think we're in a path where some bipartisan bills are moving, and that's critically important because as these bills move, they actually create a long-term budget that is important, long-term being for the rest of this fiscal year. But this should have been done before the fiscal year started. It should have been done before October 1st. There's no reason we have to be in this place. It's because Republicans weren't interested in putting together funding. We are very much interested in doing that, and my hope is that as long as we continue on a bipartisan path, we will get bills done.
All right, some cautious optimism there. Sticking with the budget, wanted to also get your response to President Trump calling for an increase in the defense budget. He's asking for $1.5 trillion for the 2027 fiscal year. Is that something that you think has an appetite in the House of Representatives?
Well, I think, first of all, the president owes members of Congress a detailed description of exactly what he thinks he's doing with this money. The power of the purse lies with Congress. Congress should make a decision on how money is appropriated and allocated. I think that's critically important. And so there's much, much more information that folks need to have to understand how that's going to work. Unfortunately, the president has not respected and worked with Congress on funding. That's going to be critically important moving forward.
And it's interesting, the president was talking about defense contractors yesterday as well, and I know your state is no stranger to them as we consider the likes of Boeing and others. Congresswoman, what do you think of this idea of limiting defense contractors' ability to buy back their own shares or deliver dividends to shareholders, knowing that they're making the bulk of their revenue off of taxpayer money? Is that something you'd support?
Well, I think, again, these are topics that we should be discussing in Congress. We should be bringing people in, talking about what we can do to make sure that our focus on taxpayer dollars is they're used to the best interests of the American people. That's our job. Oversight, understanding where dollars are going, and how we maximize the use of taxpayer dollars to benefit the American people. That's what the Congress's role is. That's why we need to have robust hearings and the appropriations process, something that in Mike Johnson's Congress, he's been uninterested in doing, uninterested in bringing folks in, even folks from the administration not willing to come to testify in front of committees in Congress. All of that's critically important so we can talk about the policies that are going to make a difference and talk about the right path to move forward.
Sticking with defense in the final minute we have you, there's movement in the Senate on this war powers resolution. I'm curious what you think the bigger question is for Congress right now. Is it what happened this last weekend in Venezuela, or is it questions about what could happen moving forward?
Well, I think that it's been clear that there is no plan going forward from the administration. Maduro is a violent dictator. There's no disagreement on that. But we need to know what the plan is going forward. What does it mean for the American people? What does it mean for the Venezuelan people? The administration has not provided any answers. We need a full plan. And yes, Congress needs to be part of this process. The administration should be consulting with Congress. I think that's critically important, especially as we continue to hear the president talk about, other places in the world that that he's interested in. That's absolutely, Congress has an important role to play. We are a co-equal branch, and I think it's very important in a bipartisan way that folks speak up.